You recording? Mm. You gonna ask me some questions? So, decided to do this documentary as we prepare to complete the King Girls tentatively feature film, just to show everybody the process of a independent filmmaker. So it's 2020 now, about what, 4 or 5 months of 2020. I started writing this project. It's the summer of 2018. I had just graduated film school. I thought I was gonna work for like Disney or like BET. I thought I was gonna be popping out here. I was not popping. I was living in this overpriced, roach-infested apartment in Chicago, and both my roommates were working on shows like Empire, The Chi. It was like the first season of The Chi had came out, and I was at home with the roaches and no heat, no air, and I wasn't working. I was living off my savings, and again, my boyfriend was like, "Hey, you know, why don't you write that series you've been talking about?" Okay. It was his second year in his graduate program, so he was very busy, and I felt like I wasn't doing shit. Like I felt like I was a failure. I felt like, you know, like that I wasn't doing nothing. I had graduated, he was working, my friends was working, and I was sitting at home. And I mean, I can't really speak to how they felt, but I can only imagine of working 12, 14-hour shifts a day on your feet in the heat, coming home to a house that don't have air, and then now you're trying to work on something and you got to be back on set at like 6 a.m. I didn't have that struggle. I could wake up whenever I wanted to. I can literally work all day. I can eat in my bed, and I was still able to survive because I had saved money. Looking at it half full is that I had time to work on my dream. Half empty is I didn't have no job.
What are you going to do right now?
Right now, I'm going to go door dashing, which, if y'all don't know, it is a food delivery app. Currently on the coronavirus hiatus, and unfortunately I've been laid off from my job, so I have decided to do that. How trusting the process is something that can be vital, because it's easy to get out on yourself, easy to be depressed, easy to be like, woe is me. But when you have supportive people, which I feel like you are for me, it's like, okay, I can do it. As long as I put my mind to it, I can do it. If y'all got Amazon, if y'all don't get them passwords, Derek Scott, don't know you. Hopefully I'll meet you one day in Detroit. One of my first movies I saw of his, Plug Love, fire. Or fire, as people in Memphis say. It was fire. And I was just like, if he could do it, I could do it. You know, get your hustle up. 937 Gem City. Don't know you, but it's on Amazon too. It was like, if he could do it, I can do it. So it's just like, going to film school, I think was beneficial for me because it taught me the ins and outs, but it kind of made me feel like I had to have the most expensive equipment, that I had to have this and all these fancy things. And when I graduated and I didn't have that, I did get down on myself. So I could still relate to a movie like Plug Love because it was a well-rounded story, regardless of if it was shot on a Red camera or an Alexa camera. The story was there. And I can say that specifically at Columbia, even though I may not have learned about like independent Black filmmakers, or, you know, I call them Negro novels, even though we wasn't watching those, we were watching like Los Pierlos, so I don't even know how you say it, a movie that was in Spanish about dogs. Even though we was watching movies like that, the main consensus and the whole point and the number one goal is to have a great story. And I think a movie like Plug Love is a great story, and it follows the structure of any popular or classic movie. So in that sense, it don't matter whether it's a classically a trained person doing it like Quentin Tarantino, or if it's, you know, Jessica Rabbit up the street doing it. If you have a story, it'll work. A positive of being a filmmaker is that everybody is collaborating. I also think that could be a negative too, because you may have this ideal in your head, but she may have this ideal in her head, and because you think that maybe she's more experienced than you, or she's more technical savvy with the camera or the lights or something like that, you kind of allow that person to take over the vision in a sense, when I think that it should, you know, you got to learn how to stand up for yourself. You got to learn how to say, like, that's not how I was really seeing it. So I think moving forward, I will have my hands in the directing and editing process for projects, specifically that I'm doing. Now, if I'm just somebody producer, then no, because I'm going to just create what they want to create.
Are you opposed to doing a drug, violent movie about Milwaukee if somebody reached out to you and says that? Like,
I'm not opposed to it, but like I said, I don't have much experience with that lifestyle. So I think that's a good skill of a producer or a good skill of a filmmaker, is to be honest and say, like, okay, yeah, I'll do this movie for you, but I'm gonna need to research that. It's important to me because I haven't seen a movie about Milwaukee. I felt like growing up, a lot of the films that are about Black life were about like drugs or like money or like violence and stuff like that, which I never grew up around that. And they were always in like New York or Atlanta or Chicago. There was never a movie about Milwaukee and what happens on Capitol at the Checkers on the corner. If not all of my movies, and some of my movies be about where I come from, because essentially that's what all filmmakers do. There are stories from your past, there are stories from your friends, your environment, and I think the best stories come from things that you know. I mean, like, I ain't from Detroit, but if I was like a filmmaker, not even a filmmaker, but somebody from Detroit who watched Amazon, like, I couldn't just imagine how happy or how cool that would be to see somebody who making movies about Detroit, you know, and you can see things that are important to you and your culture and your city in the movie. And you can see artists that are popular in your city, like Cash Doll was in one of his movies. They talk about the buffs, and that's like a culture that I realized once I went to college that, a lot of Detroit people, they know how to dress. They wear these nice little Gucci belts and these glasses, and that's something that's prominent in their city. So my goal is to, you know, like I said, showcase Milwaukee. Growing up in Milwaukee, I never felt like, music was always, not necessarily in Milwaukee, but just in the Black community, everybody want to be a rapper. Everybody want to play basketball. Everybody want to, you know, do a sport. But there was never, within the fine arts world, never talk about being a writer that didn't have nothing to do with music. Or, you know, dancing that wasn't you being a stripper. Or, you know, doing film or drama or theater and going to places like Juilliard or performing on Broadway. Nothing like that. So I hope to kind of spark a conversation, or maybe spark some ideas in other people that are like me to want to get more involved in fine arts at an earlier age outside of music. Music is okay, but I just feel like that's the only thing that my community or Black people that I know kind of start off with. Everybody want to be a rapper, everybody want to write beats and do this and do that, which is cool, but it's so much more out there. I just feel like, bro, if Beyonce could do it, I'm about to do this shit. Right? But not a concert, but a movie. Yeah, so this is the first of many episodes just to show you guys our process, how to write a script, the ups and downs of filmmaking, and the ups and downs of being independent.